It is the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona, held December 2nd, 2014 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Councilmember Dowling.
Currently residing.
Councilmember Alinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Garrison.
Present.
Vice Mayor Pfeiffer.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
And Councilmember Howergy is absent.
Okay. Item number 3 is Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Charles with us tonight to say the pledge from our Youth Commission.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item is a brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and city manager. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter brought up in discussion unless that item is officially listed on the agenda for action. So, Mr. Bartosh.
Madam Mayor, council members, our new Public Safety Communications Center went operational at midnight on December 1st, and appears everything is operating fine.
And there was an earthquake like at 11 o'clock that night. So does that tell you anything?
And a little plug for the Youth Commission here. The Youth Commission has their annual angel tree set up, and this year it is to benefit both children and seniors. You can begin picking up names to donate gifts for on December 3rd, with all gifts to be delivered back to the rec center no later than December 17th. And for the council and our public, the annual Christmas parade and the chocolate walk are this Saturday, December 6th. The parade with the theme It's a Wonderful Life begins around 11 a.m. and the chocolate walk is later that evening. The Recreation Center has completed their annual maintenance and repairs and is open again. And they did restriping of the parking lot, wiring repairs, tile replacement, pool cleaning, etc. So it's all ready to go for another year. And then Santa will be coming to the Recreation Center on December 18th and 19th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Both days. So if anybody's interested in sitting on Santa's lap, that's the days to do it. That's it, Madam Mayor.
All right. Sounds like lots of holiday fun. Council members, any activities? Mr. Pratt?
Also on Saturday is the Verde Valley Voices annual holiday concert at 2 p.m. at the Immaculate Conception Church, and I'll be attending and serving as their MC.
Thank you.
It's always a great event.
Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you and your service and your time. Anything else? Mr. Garrison?
The Yavapai College Governing Board Advisory Committee has been meeting, and we're working on creating some procedures and policies on how the group moves forward. The idea is this will be a long-term committee that will assist the college for a long time to come, and so we've got to come up with some rules and figure out how we're going to deal with people that fall off and get replaced and whatnot, and also all the things that go into electing officers and meetings and running the meetings and dates and all that type of stuff. So going through that process right now. Last meeting, we'll have the next meeting tomorrow morning. It'll be from 8 to 10 at Yavapai College, G102, I believe, if anybody'd like to come. They are open to the public. Last meeting, James Perry, Executive Dean James Perry, gave a presentation on what the school is doing with all of the campuses in the Verde Valley and the programs that they're looking to put into place and are working to bring back to the Verde Valley. So that was a rather interesting presentation. And starting next month, we'll be working on, we'll be having meetings the first and third Wednesday of every month. Typically from 8 to 10, I think, is the described time for the moment. And we'll be working on bringing in a stockholder, a people that have an interest in what the college does and what it needs to provide to further the economic and intellectual activities of the Verde Valley. So I think the first two presenters that'll be coming in to talk with us in January will be, we're trying to set up the hospital and have Ms. Denver come in and talk to us about what their needs are, and then the superintendents from Cottonwood, Oak Creek, and Mingus Union will be coming in, hopefully Sedona as well, and the superintendent for Camp Verde is on the board, so she may present as well. So we're going to be working down through quite a list that was decided on or put forward last meeting, and our economic development groups will be high on that list of people that will be asked to come in and present, or at least talk to us about what they feel is necessary and needed. So if anybody out there has any concerns about what the college is doing or classes that need to be taught, or has an interest in participating in those discussions, let me know, or get a hold of Mr. James Perry at the Yavapai College, and he would be glad to give you the information.
Thank you. I really appreciate that update.
We'll try and I'll try and do this at least once a month and let you know where it's going. So
thank you very much.
If you have any questions at all, though, please feel free to give me a call.
Great. Another group that we could probably ask is our Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission. They might have some ideas too.
That's a very good idea.
Okay, so other council members? Let's see. I don't have too long of a report because, after all, you know, it was Thanksgiving vacation, and when the staff is off, I don't get any emails, so I have nothing to do. Just kidding. I hope everybody enjoyed their break. I know I enjoyed mine. On November 19th, I attended that book signing by Roger Naylor at Burning Tree Cellars, and as I said, he's been a great one to write a lot of articles in the different Arizona highways and Arizona Republic, and helps promote Old Town Cottonwood and the city of Cottonwood and all the communities in the Verde Valley. So we appreciate him. And after Council Member Pratt announced the concert at Yavapai College, I did run over and attend that, Bach to Rock, and it was really excellent. And the room was full. So I was very pleased to see that people are enjoying those services from the college. On Friday, I'll be interviewing Scott Mayberry of the Yavapai County Probation Department on Inside Cottonwood, and I'll be speaking with Speak Out Arizona on Friday. I've been asked to judge the 12 Days of Christmas contest at the EF Productions Christmas Play on Friday. It's called The Celebration of Christmas, and runs December 5th through December 8th at 7 p.m. nightly, with an additional matinee performance on Saturday, December 6th at 1 p.m. There's the parade on Saturday, and the theme this year is It's a Wonderful Life, and the Chamber of Commerce manages all of this and does a great job at it. It'll be the 60th anniversary of the Cottonwood Christmas Parade. Isn't that amazing? And it starts at 11, and this first step off is at 11 p.m. Then there will be the chocolate walk that night from 4 to 8, and also at 7 p.m. the American Legion Post 25 in Cottonwood will host a band called Frontline in concert. It's free admission. Come and thank our vets. And I just wanted to let council know that we lit the lights on Thanksgiving, and the city manager asked if I wanted them to be turned off until the 6th of December, when we do the Christmas lighting, and I thought that was kind of foolish to leave the lights off. And it's so far into the month, and so it'd be all those nights if someone came to Old Town, they wouldn't get to see the lights. So we agreed to just leave them on. I don't really know if we'll have any ceremony. Last year, other than the carolers, we only had about 5 people turn out. And our staff works so hard making arrangements to turn the lights on. And I just thought that's just kind of foolish. If it's not more well attended, just leave the lights on. You know, in the future, I might like to see another Christmas tree planted where we actually could light a tree. Maybe that is in our future someday. But if council doesn't mind, it doesn't look like we'll have, and we can't really talk about it because it's not on the agenda. But I just wanted to let you know the reasons behind. Okay, that's my report for this council meeting. Okay, so the next item is call to the public. This portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding any item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and/or action. Comments are limited to a 5-minute time period. The next item is, excuse me. So, Dr. Richards, did you want to talk about in the call to the public? Yes. Okay. Dr. Richards would like to speak.
Dr. Bob Richards, 1495 East Crestview Drive, Cottonwood, Arizona. Mayor, members of City Council. North section will be done expediently and very soon. I would like to make a suggestion regarding the north section of 12th Street, and that's why I'm here tonight. The sidewalks are 6 feet wide, which means that if you take sidewalks on both sides, you have 12 feet of sidewalks. I've gone around in my residential neighborhood, sidewalks are 4 feet, and in other areas they may be 5 feet. I contacted city staff and was, to see if there was an ordinance regarding with the city sidewalks, and they couldn't direct me to one. In my own searching, I couldn't find one as well. I was told that maybe the 6 feet width was a council directive, whatever that was. But in contacting the city clerk's office who gave me a copy of that directory, I got no response. So I presume it's something that's not set in concrete. It's just something that's done maybe out of tradition or habit. I would propose, I think that 5-foot sidewalks are plenty adequate. This is a busy arterial street, and I know that it's nice to keep the roadway narrow to decrease the speed of the traffic, but in reality, I think on a main arterial street, traffic is going to flow at the speed traffic will flow. And by reducing the sidewalk on each side to 5 feet, you gain an extra foot of roadway on each side. 4 inches of that, which isn't very much, could be added to the bike lane, which would make the bike lane from gutter pan to the white line 48 inches, 4 feet. It would add another 8 inches to the roadway dimensions, the actual road that people travel on. And if you look at 12th Street, it's still a pretty narrow road, and I think that in the planning, more was given to the sidewalks than to the roadway. I notice when I travel on my bike, whether it be on Fur, whether it be on Willard, that cars are very good about moving towards the center to get out of my way, even if I'm in the bike lane. But on a busy road like that, you may be compromising the distance that a vehicle can move. Also, if I fall off my bike, which I recently did, you're going to land either into the curb, which is there, or you're going to land into the street. And usually when you land, you're going to land probably on your hip or shoulder. So you're going to be extending out into the roadway. So another reason I think to wind the roadway, even by 8 inches, will increase motorist safety, bicyclist safety, and it will not have any impact on pedestrian safety or use of the sidewalk at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is that something we could please talk about in future policy discussions, or, if there's never been any documentation that the council wants 6 feet sidewalks, then maybe we should talk about that.
Well, there was direction from the council that they would like the sidewalks to be
When we did the project. Okay.
Across the entire city.
I think it's in our subdivision codes.
Oh, subdivision codes?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is somewhere. So then could you help Dr. Richards with finding that?
True.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, thank you. Next item is approval of minutes. Any corrections?
I move we approve the minutes.
Okay.
I'll
Mr.
second.
Garrison will second it. So Mr. Elinsky made the motion, Mr. Garrison seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And that was a special meeting of November 13th and of November 18th. Comments regarding items listed on the agenda are limited to a 5-minute time period per speaker. Item number 7 is consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item number 1 is renewal of contract with SC Fuels for off-site refueling services for city vehicles. Item number 2 is amendment to contract number YAV 2201415 with the Northern Arizona Council of Governments providing additional community services block grant funds for the public transportation low-income voucher program. Item 3 is extension of premises liquor license permit application submitted by Michael J. Pius, applicant for the American Legion Post 25 located at 480 South Calvary Way. Is there anyone who would like to remove an item from the agenda? Either the council or members of the public? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Mr. Pratt made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, new business. The following items are for council discussion, consideration, and possible legal action. Resolution number 2771, appointing youth commission members and establishing their terms of office. Hezekiah Allen will present this item to the council.
Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for your time this evening. It's one of those times during the year that staff as well as the Youth Commission are challenged because we get so many quality applicants. This year we only had 2 open seats, with the rest being signing up for an extended term. We had 8 total applicants this year, all of them excellent. Took a lot of time to narrow it down to figure out the 2 that were selected. This year, as we've done in the past, we've kind of started a mentor type program where we have alternate members. It's not necessarily delineated in our ordinance, but we felt that to help foster new leaders that come into the Youth Commission, we started this alternate program, which this year, Sarah Ortiz, Gunnar Tillman, Ashley McCracken, and Jody Martell has been added as alternates. Gunnar is here tonight. Gunnar? looking very dapper. And then we have our members that we're adding or requesting that the council re-up. And then we have 2 applicants that we're requesting the council add. To give the presentation, we have Charles and Sirilak Sangswang Rotler. I hope I didn't butcher that. She goes by Pookie. And they're going to make the presentation. Charles is the president and Pookie is the vice president.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, council members, as the president and Pookie is the vice president, we would like to ask for action in reinstating our prior members that didn't graduate last year. Several of them are with us tonight, and I would like to call on them to see why they would like to keep up. So Kirsten Conover, Jasmine Banks, and Kaylee Gordon, and Krista Earl, right? Sweet. Okay. So Kirsten, who would like to go?
I'll go first, I suppose. Madam Mayor, council members, my name is Kirsten. I'm a senior at Mingus this year. I'd really love to thank you for the opportunity to serve on the Youth Commission. This is my second year, or going to be my second year on the Youth Commission. I really enjoyed being here and serving and all of the extra things that I got an opportunity to do last year, such as the Easter egg hunt and doing the angel tree at the rec center. I've enjoyed every moment of the meetings that we've had and every moment of the serving that I've gotten to do, and I'd really appreciate being able to do it for another year. Yeah.
Hello, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Jasmine Banks. I am a current member at Mingus. I am a junior, and I enjoyed having this opportunity to be a part of the Youth Commission and be able to serve in the community and be able to help and make an impact, and I hope that I could be able to be reinstated again because I enjoyed working with the other commissioners, and yeah, that's it. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Kaylee Gordon. I'm a junior at Mingus, and I've had such an awesome and fun time at working in the commission, and I've loved serving in all the community service and reaching out to those in the community, and if reinstated, I hope to continue to do that.
Hi, I'm Krista Earl. I've been on the commission since my 8th grade year. I'm a sophomore at Mingus this year. I really enjoy being part of the commission. We recently just did serving dinner at the mission for Thanksgiving. That's one of my favorite things. I love participating in the community and outreaching, and I hope to be reinstated this year. Just working with the community is one of my favorite things to do.
So, with your permission, Madam Mayor and council members, I would like to propose a motion to, I move to approve the appointment requested by the Common Youth Advisory Commission, extending Gabriel McCuches, Sirilak Singh Swangs, Rotlers, Carrington Midkiffs, Wyatt Midkiff, Krista Earl, Charles Novak, Parker Kleck, Ryan Young, Jasmine Banks, Kirsten Conover, and Kaylee Gordon's stay on the commission, as well as, in addition, new appointments, Riley McClellan and Evan Snyder. Rep Riley is here with us. Wait. Okay. Okay. Well, Riley is here with us, and she was in one of the more standout of our inductee in interviews and applicants. She scored very well on both, and I believe she would be a great addition to the committee.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm here today to ask you to be instated into the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission because I've always been really interested in my community and meeting new people. I'm really inspired by people and their stories and their lives. So I feel like this would be a good opportunity for me to reach out and meet those people in my own community. And I also really enjoy the people in this club, and I love working with them and I would love to work with them to help those in need and to meet new people and contribute to my community in ways that I haven't done before.
Thank you.
Does Madam Mayor or any of the council member have any question for us, the committee?
I don't. I'd just like to give Gunnar Tillmans a chance to come up if he'd like to and just share with us, being an alternate, why he might be interested in serving also.
I would like to serve the young and youth in my youth advisory committee, and I think it would really help me in giving me education on this factor, and this would be something that I would be very much doing. I would really like to do it, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Are there any other alternates here tonight?
No.
Okay.
I would like to apologize on Evan Snyder's behalf for not being able to be here. He has a basketball game currently, and he's the leader of the team, so he wasn't able to miss the game.
Okay. Lots of conflicting activities because you all are very busy people with multiple obligations, so I know you all do the best you can. So I would just like to say that the council really relies on you all very much. You are advisory to the council. That's one of your main jobs, in addition to serving many other entities in the community. I know that you help the underprivileged as much as you can and do a lot of work in those fields. But we really count on you, and I imagine that there will be a continuing conversation from last year. Most of you were on last year's about the movie theater and the bowling alley and the things that you feel would benefit the youth in all of our community. So when you're all ready to have a joint meeting with the council, just let us know, and we'll make that happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments or questions from the members of the public? Not? Yes. So would you like to make a motion, or did you have a comment?
A comment and a motion.
Okay.
While you all are a pretty shady-looking bunch, I'm going to go ahead and approve you guys. I'm only kidding. No, I just say that my daughter had a really great experience in the CYAC, and it really helped her find who she was and really give back, and I appreciate it greatly.
She did a great job.
If I can, I would like to move to approve Resolution 2771, appointing members to the Cottonwood Youth Advisory Commission.
Second.
Okay, so Mr. Dowling made the motion, Mr. Pratt seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Deputy Clerk, please read, in just a second, I lost part of my clip here. Please read Resolution number 2771 by title only.
A resolution number 2771, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Yavapai County, Arizona, appointing youth commission members and establishing their terms of office. Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, all of you, for being here tonight. We appreciate you. Thank you, Hezekiah Allen, and also Kirsten, for all the work you do. Okay, so ordinance number 606, repealing and replacing Chapter 2.48 of the Cottonwood City Code, first reading. Okay, we have Chief Kirkendall with us tonight.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, this proposed ordinance, 606, would repeal and replace Chapter 2.48 of the current City Code, and it contains the enabling provisions for the Cottonwood Fire Department. One of the reason for replacing this chapter in the city code is because the current code was adopted when this was an all-volunteer fire department, and obviously the way we conduct business now is quite different, being primarily a career department with some volunteer members still. The number of the items in the current are just archaic, for lack of a better term, because of what they were based upon. Again, a department that was run by a volunteer chief, and the reporting requirements and all those things have changed greatly. Consequently, the new code does a couple of items. One is changing which would be the official name to the Cottonwood Fire and Medical Services or Cottonwood Fire and Medical Department to better reflect what we do. 80% of our business, if you will, now is the medical, emergency medical. And as we continue to see the trend continue, that would just better reflects what we actually do. It would be it wouldn't be like overnight we would change these things necessarily on the truck, but over time, that's what we'd be moving towards. To better reflect the services we provide to the community. As well, it outlines all of the other services that we provide now that weren't listed, at the time that ordinance was adopted, including hazardous materials response and rescue and some of the other things that the department now is vitally involved in to provide safety to our community. It also allows the fire chief to adopt rules, regulations, SOPs, SOGs as needed to manage the department and to ensure the safety of the personnel. All of those, of course, would be subject to that they are in accordance with applicable federal, state, and local laws. That's in brief. Any questions?
I do. I have lots of them.
Okay.
Okay, so starting out, I did compare it with the old, and one of the, and just so the council knows, if you didn't get a chance to read the old code, but on, let's see, I was just wondering, we did like this book that's this thick on emergency management. Mm-hmm. And it seems like that's like totally separate, but would that be something that might be mentioned in this code, or did you think about that? You probably did.
It's addressed, if you will, in the kind of the overall intent of the code, mm-hmm. And I would say this, the emergency management, while in the city of Cottonwood, does fall, by virtue of being the fire chief and appointment by the city manager, the emergency manager for the city. But in a number of cities, the emergency management is actually can be handled by someone else. And mm-hmm. With the idea that this code may be in place a long time, mm-hmm. that would be a duty that's assigned by the city manager or council and in conjunction with the council to that. But if in growth of the city it reached the point where we had an emergency manager, we wouldn't want to have that necessarily
under
relegated to where we have to change this ordinance to allow that. Steve, if you can address that differently or in a different way than I did.
No, I think that's right.
Okay.
And I think emergency management sometimes, I mean, it's public safety, but it's police, fire, it's multi-departmental.
Okay. And I just may be a little bit confused because in our city you're it, so.
Well, yes.
You're kind of like the key person. But I understand. I mean, that book and the policy, it's a policy, so it's there no matter what we do here. Okay, so the other thing that I noticed, it's hard for me to see this little print. It's not, at home I have it's up on a big screen. I was just wondering, okay, so policies and procedures. So the code is quite long in the current code. And I was just wondering if the city council should approve the chief's policies and procedures or not. I mean, is that just something that might be, how do other towns handle that?
And Madam Mayor, that's one of the name change and that are I think the key drivers behind having this ordinance in front of you. I think the modern trend with professional fire departments is there's a level of expertise and I think a level of legislate or nimbleness that if you delegate to your professional your full-time fire chief the ability to adopt and amend and adjust policies and procedures for the department rather than have the council legislate in that area. If you delegate, what we did is we drafted in here that the chief's authority to develop policies and procedures and amend them is subordinate to yours and the manager's ability to adopt or have in place ones that control what he can and can't do. He can't adopt anything that's contrary to what the council does. And I think that is the modern trend, rather than have the council actually approved by ordinance or by legislation. The procedures that govern the day-to-day operations and technical aspects of the department.
Okay, so council's got all that. Okay, then, so the other thing that the old policy said was that the chief of the fire department shall be appointed by the city manager, subject to approval of the city council. And so I just wondered, this is changing because it's going to strictly the city.
Where are you right now in the document?
Well, I'm just comparing the old code to the new.
And Madam Mayor, I am the responsible party for that language, and the reason I was trying to get this code to conform to the current practice, and I know that the council has currently 4 direct report employees that serve at your pleasure.
Right.
And
this is just an old piece of code that
it's an
is
anachronistic.
100 years old.
The chief of
right.
the fire department was the party planner, the social director, and he did other things, in that code that he doesn't do.
Right. So is that okay with council? That all works for you all? Okay.
I just want to be clear that you're saying in the old code that the fire chief appointment was by city manager with our approval.
Right.
Okay, I understand.
And now it will be strictly by the city manager.
Okay.
Okay, just want to be sure you know the differences. Okay, okay, so let's see, the old code said the department shall be equipped with such apparatus and other equipment as may be required from time to time to maintain its efficiency and properly protect life and property from fire. Recommendations concerning apparatus and equipment needed shall be made by the chief, and after approval by the council, such equipment shall be purchased in such a manner as may be designated by the council. All equipment of the department shall be safely and conveniently housed in such places as may be designated by the council. So that now it'll be stored wherever the city manager says it shall be stored. So that takes the council out of that, and that's fine if it's all fine with you. I just want you to know that that's a difference from the old code. Okay, what else did I notice? Okay, let's see, I highlighted the fire, okay, on 22.48.060, fire protection emergency medical response outside the city. The fire department is further authorized, this is the new code, to answer fire alarms and fight fires beyond the city limits whenever the fire chief in his or her discretion shall deem necessary to protect lives and property. And in the old code, it says the council may enter into agreements or contracts to furnish fire protection outside the city or enter into mutual aid agreements, and the fire department is authorized and directed to render firefighting service pursuant to the terms of such contracts. The chief, when necessary, for the protection of property within the corporate limits of the city in areas which, well, I'm like reading this little skinny thing. Well, essentially, it used to say that it would protect property within the city limits, and now that's gone. So I want to be sure that's okay with the city council. So, I mean, when there's an accident out on 260 and he gets called, it's obvious that he's going to go help if he gets called.
There are IGAs in place right now, right, for mutual aid agreements, and we get reimbursed for.
Actually, the part that you just read, Mayor, is also included. That first part is almost identical. The first clause of that, or first sentence actually of that, is almost the same in the new code as far as the council may enter into agreements.
Right.
For fire protection, and that essentially that's our automatic and mutual aid agreements
with
those around us. Or should we enter into any kind of contractual agreement with an area that was outside of a fire district and outside the city, and we want to do that. We don't have any at this time, but should that arise, we would do that. The second part of that, as opposed to different, it opened it up a little bit because the reason to answer these fire alarms and that is because of an emergent situation. If we're called to help a fire with that's somebody that may not be in agreement with up Sycamore Canyon because Clarkdale's running up there, it gives me the authority to send a truck up there and assist them, protect life and property to the best knowledge we can when we don't have time to worry about whether we have agreements or those things.
Exactly. I just wanted to draw out that it used to say that it had to benefit the corporate limits, and that's going to be gone because obviously it doesn't really fit anymore. And then you guys also used to send trucks out and help folks on fires, but you got paid back for that, and the chief made those decisions. So it's all good.
Outside the city, we still can. It's very rare that we respond to any place that isn't in someone's jurisdiction, but should we, there's always the provision to go towards their insurance companies and try to receive some form of financial compensation if we do go outside of those and do that.
Right. So those are just some differences that I noticed that I wanted to call to your attention. Any other questions or comments about the policy? Any other from the public? Any comments that you might have?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
And this is, I guess the council could consider this a warning that...
A trial run?
Yeah, that this is the beginning of the rewrite of the municipal code, and I think you'll be seeing quite a few of these coming before the council in the future.
All right. Thank you very much. So there's no vote on this. It was just a first reading, as I understand it. So it will come back for a vote and more discussion for the public and the council and a vote in the future. Thank you, Chief. Okay, item 3 is discussion. Oh, do you want to read that? I think maybe that would be the appropriate thing. I tried to get by with it, but council's just too much on their toes. Deputy Clerk, will you please read the ordinance number 606 by title only?
Ordinance number 606, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, amending chapter 2.48 of the Cottonwood City Code. Madam Mayor.
Okay. The next item is discussion, consideration, and possible direction to staff regarding the implementation of a use tax on certain out-of-state purchases. Mr. Rodriguez.
Mayor and Council, I've had this on my radar for some time, and our sales tax auditor and I have discussed this over and over again. I thought it was time to get council involved and see if they are interested in establishing a use tax for the city of Cottonwood. And this is a little bit different. It's similar to a transaction privilege tax. However, what we're trying to do is kind of level the field for those inside Arizona and, of course, local versus people that are purchasing, let's say, larger, especially larger items outside the state of Arizona. Take, for example, if you purchase a vehicle in certain states, they do not have sales tax in those states. They will come into Arizona and establish residency here, and if there's no use tax, they go away without ever paying a transaction privilege tax. If, take for example, they buy a vehicle in a non-sales tax state, they come to Sedona and try to register in Sedona. Sedona does have a sales tax, a use tax, and what the motor vehicle department will do is they will collect the local sales tax as well as the city and the county sales tax on that particular item. We have had individuals that have established residency in Cottonwood because Cottonwood doesn't have a use tax. They do pay the state sales, they will pay the state use tax, the county use tax, but you can imagine on a $100,000 motorhome, they get off by not paying a 3% use tax to the city of Cottonwood. Yeah. Excuse me, sorry about that. And what ends up happening, what we're trying to do is just kind of level the playing field. The use tax can be, it's not heavily enforced by the Department of Revenue. They have tried to pass legislation to force people to go ahead and file a use tax every time they purchase something outside, but unfortunately it's never passed. Our biggest concern is that there are large ticket items that are being purchased via the internet or so forth, and we're not collecting any use tax on them. Especially if you are purchasing, of course, a vehicle, motorhome, travel trailer, something outside the boundaries of Cottonwood. That also plays into the fact that if you go out and you purchase a vehicle and you do pay sales tax, the state motor vehicle department compares the sales tax, and if, let's say, you pay 2% versus Cottonwood's 3% in the local sales tax, they'll collect that extra percentage and submit it to the city of Cottonwood. And all we're trying to do is kind of level the playing field at this point. Currently, there's 35 program cities that collect a use tax. And program cities are those cities where the Department of Revenue collects the sales tax form and then remits it to them. In January of 2015, they're adding 2 to 3 more communities as program cities. And January 1st of 2016, all cities will be program cities, and the Department of Revenue will be collecting all sales tax, all transaction privilege tax, and use tax for each and every community. And you may have heard that the Department of Revenue, as well as the League, is encouraging establishment of certain making sure that we are all using the same tax structure and making not the same rates, however, the same collecting for the same items. And this is one of those items that I think is probably going to be pushed quite heavily. Will it happen? I'm not sure, but we'd like to go ahead and make sure that we try to level as much of the playing field as we can for those local businesses. And all I'm trying to get is some direction whether council would like to go that route. If so, we can move forward with trying to get all the requirements, all the notices, and make sure that we meet all the state regs so we can bring it back before council in the near future.
Mr. Elinsky.
So I have a couple questions. Your thought is that most cities in Arizona are going to move toward a use tax if they don't currently have one?
It would probably be beneficial to them, especially during these trying times. You would figure that they would be trying to get into the use tax business only to level the playing field of their local economies.
So then how the council then can put it into effect without having to have the vote of the people?
Yes.
Tax into effect, okay, because it's similar to sales tax?
Correct.
So how is that enforced if there's currently use tax but it's not enforced, then how will it be any different?
It's at the moment, the bigger ticket items such as motor vehicles and travel trailers and so forth, the motor vehicle department enforces that. Eventually, we expect that once we do the streamlining with all the communities, then some of this will go away because once streamlining goes into effect, we will all be collecting sales tax from all online purchases.
You mean once the Department of Revenue takes over collecting the transaction?
Yeah, I mean, it's years down the road, but right now I'm more concerned with some of the bigger ticket items that are coming into the community that we're not collecting sales tax on.
So what will this look like? What are your projections of how this will affect our general fund?
We don't expect it to be a huge moneymaker. Believe me, we're looking anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. So it's not a big item. Our biggest concern is making sure that we make it fair for the local businesses that are where a lot of people are buying vehicles or something from outside, bigger ticket items coming into town and not paying sales tax.
Mr. Pratt?
Yeah, so this would cover, from what I understand, when they have these wrecked vehicle sales like at Safeway, people are actually making the deals here but then going to buy them in a separate city. It would cover that?
It could, if that particular city, if they're going to register it in Cottonwood and purchase it in another city, right, and their sales tax is lower than ours.
Yeah, okay. From what I understand, a lot of people do that and then go to Prescott Valley and complete the deal.
they'll sign off, they'll collect the sales tax over there. If theirs is lower than ours and they come and register it here, the Department of Motor Vehicle will pick up the difference.
It'd be nice on the internet if they would just like charge at the time of the transaction. Do you think that will ever come? Because, I mean, expecting people to go figure it all out, I mean, just, it's so much easier than when you just pay it when you buy it.
It's been on ADOR and the League of Arizona Cities and Towns radar for a number of years. It's been worked through, but it just hasn't completely come to fruition.
And I mean, all the states in the United States are facing the same issues with more and more people shopping online, I think, out of convenience, really.
It's out of convenience and out of savings also, but yeah, I think that at some point or other it's going to come to fruition for all the different states where they'll all be having to collect some sort of sales tax.
The federal government talks about it every once in a while. Are they talking about it currently?
It's kind of been a little quiet in the recent past, but the league hasn't completely let go of it. We're trying to standardize what kind of taxes are readily available and trying to standardize all the cities to collect the similar taxes. Not the similar tax rates, but similar taxes all around.
Mr. Elinsky?
I'm glad that we're talking about different ways to try and increase revenues into the city. I'm not crazy about an additional sales tax, but I think if other municipalities are all going to be heading this way, then I certainly wouldn't want to be the lame city out. But I think I'm hoping that we can have a discussion where we talk about diversifying our revenues. And I know I've brought up the terrible property tax word before, and I'll bring it up again, but you know, this isn't something that's going to go to the vote of the people, and that concerns me a little bit, whereas a property tax would.
Now, mind you, this is not another sales tax.
It's not an extra.
Necessarily. Take, for example, I'll give you a good example is, you may recall we bought a fire truck in Arizona on a Alaska contract some years back. We brought the vehicle in here. We ended up paying county and state use tax to the tune of several thousands of dollars. Those are the kind of things that we were looking for, those people that come in, and we self-report. We always have and we always will. Most cities, if not all cities, self-report on use tax. But what we're trying to make sure is, especially those big ticket items, that we kind of level the playing field for especially those, you know, possibly furniture stores, possibly motor vehicles especially, are some of the big ticket items we're looking at. It's very difficult for us to go out and enforce that, because obviously it's very difficult for each and every one of us to keep all of our sales tax and try to compare it.
Sure.
However, the big ticket items where we can get motor vehicle to assist us, because they will be registering vehicles that are coming from out of state or out of the area. Right. That's our biggest concern right now.
Yeah, I understand. My concern is that you know, the public can't really have a say in it necessarily. We could enact that tax without the public chiming in, other than at a meeting like this. And I see it being in the same vein as a sales tax, even though it's not exactly a sales tax. But I think I just would hope that we'd have other discussions as far as how to diversify our revenue, because as we saw with the recession, when people aren't buying things, the city suffers greatly. And if we had, you know, another tax that was in place, such as property tax, but there's a bunch of other options, then that would help balance. I feel like that would help balance things out, because I know, especially with property tax, I believe we lagged 2 years on that. So that would have helped, you know, in the way the economy flowed during that time, you know.
Sure, much like our shared income tax is what you're saying, which there's a 2-year lag on it.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see what you're pointing.
So anyway, I would just hope as a council we would have that, you know, that broader discussion on different ways to diversify our revenue here in the city.
Well, just on that same note, this is some of the things we're looking at. We're also looking at the big ticket items from people who've come in from outside the corporate limits. I know that we've had this discussion. We've thought about, council has asked us to look at that, and we do have a couple of things in place, but we haven't gotten all the pieces put together, and that will be coming. And we've had that discussion about a year or so ago about these dealerships coming into town and then taking them outside the site contract, and then they keep the sales tax. So these are discussions we're currently having on and off, and this is kind of just one of those that came to the top to work on.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think it's also the low-lying fruit for us, because it'd be a fairly simple process for the council to enact it. I guess I would just caution that, when sales are down, if we dip into a recession again, this is not going to be a reliable source of income for the city.
Again, what we're trying to do is kind of level the playing field for a lot of our local businesses a little bit, so make it so that we encourage, shop locally and keep that sales tax here locally as possible.
I get it.
I keep hearing that, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what local businesses are actually going to be improved by this. I mean, this is another tax, self-reported or otherwise, and I don't know, I'm not really all that comfortable with getting in the middle of a tax game. Where you're talking about internet sales tax basically is what this is getting around or being led up to, and I think the government's got to figure that out. Leveling the playing field, we don't have any RV dealers in town. We can't level the playing field for an RV dealer that doesn't exist here. People don't tend to buy cars over the internet. They may go pick it up. They got to pick it up at a site. But if your dealerships are competitive, that's where the compromise is going to be made with the individual. I'm not in favor of adding another tax. It's only 3%, or it could be seen as only 3%. To me, it just is another layer. It's just another reason why I'm going to downplay my internet purchases versus reporting fully. Is now I'm going to get hit with 8% versus 5%. So I don't know. I think if you want to be competitive, you be competitive on the services and the products you offer, and don't worry about the tax side of it. And the taxes all even themselves out, and it just is another way to create more bureaucracy, another level of taxation that I don't know we really have a way to justify. So I'm just not in favor of it personally. But
well, again, it's not one of those taxes, and I understand there's no RV dealership. However, we do have several large dealerships in town that would potentially benefit from this if we have people that are coming in and purchasing motor vehicles from outside the community. It also helps for those people that are not residents in Cottonwood that move into the area that have bought vehicles. And one of the examples that I mentioned was we had a gentleman, this was a couple of years back, who went out and moved into the area from, I believe, Oregon, who is a non-sales tax state, and was going to move into Sedona until he found out that they were a use tax community, and decided to register, set up residency here in Cottonwood, just to save the 3% on the use tax. You sit down and look at a new RV that's going to cost you 50 or 100 grand. It may not seem like a lot, but it would have dropped a few coins in our coffers for other things that we would need. And that's all we're trying to do, is trying to make sure that we kind of level the playing field for our local businesses, and also at the same time make sure that people aren't going out and buying these big ticket items in order to skirt the extra 3%. We want to make sure that our dealerships are getting a fair chance, and we do see it all the time. We had the dealerships just outside the corporate limits where people would go and purchase over there just to save an extra few percent. At one point it was almost 3%, and then they leveled the playing field by bringing their rate up to 3%. So it doesn't, to me, it's not an additional tax. All we're doing is trying to protect our local economy a little bit better.
Vice Mayor, do you have any thoughts? Any comments?
No, not right now.
Anybody else? So
I guess I got one.
Okay.
The eventuality of this is that you said by 2015, 2016, all the program cities, basically all the communities in Arizona are going to be on this anyway.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
By January 1st, 2016, there will be no self-collecting city. Mind you, and this is the neat thing about, well, this is kind of getting off topic of this, but the Arizona Department of Revenue is trying to make everyone a program city, because, like right now, all I can tell you is I have 35 communities, program communities, that collect a use tax. To go out and find out if non-program, those self-collecting cities such as Prescott Valley, the Tempes, Mesa, Phoenixes, I have to sit there and I have to call them to find out whether they have one or not. Once this is all, after that particular date, it will make it easier for me, because I can go up on the ADOR website and look at every single community, and I know exactly what they're carrying, what not, so I can bring you better information. Right now, I'm just telling you that out of the program cities that we do have, 35 of them already collect the use tax.
And in this documentation, cities that have it include Apache Junction, Avondale, Bullhead City, Chandler, Douglas, Flagstaff, Glendale, Mesa, Nogales, Peoria, Phoenix, Prescott, Scottsdale, Sedona, Tempe, Tucson, and Wilcox. And then there's more than just that. They just happen to be mentioned.
Those are non-program cities right now.
So do you want to bring this back? I'm not real thrilled. I'm pretty much with Randy. But what about the rest of you? Do you want to talk more about it in the future?
I would like to look at it a little more, too. I've read through it, and I'm not sure I understand it totally.
I know I read through it once, and on my way down here, I'm thinking, I really should have read it twice.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I really need to look at it more and see how it works in other communities. And
maybe have a
so I'm not totally opposed to it, but I'm not totally for it either. And I understand Randy's comments. They do make some sense, but I would like to look at it more and talk about it again, yeah.
The Vice Mayor suggested possibly a work session.
Yes.
Talk about it more. Yeah, I'm just pretty much tax weary, but I understand we have to be able to
Ain't nothing free.
Pay the bills for services that citizens want and need.
And that's what I'm asking for, is for direction. If council says no, I can go back and work on some other stuff. But if council would like to, we can go ahead and set up a workshop. I can bring more information, because there's plenty of it out there. And again, one of the reasons we're even looking at this, because I know I've been avoiding it for some time, is council knows that our budgets are getting more and more strained, and it's very easy to just turn a blind eye to the issues that we're having. So we're looking at ways to try to assist the city without hurting our community, and I think this is one of those where it probably isn't going to hurt our community very much as it is going to make sure that we just go ahead and try to keep as much of it local and make sure that we don't have anyone bringing in big ticket items without paying the proper tax that other people in the community would have to pay. So, but if council wants me to, we'll put a work session together and bring some more information to you. That'd be great.
Okay. And eventually we'll just need to probably talk about different mechanisms, and also want to be sure that the public has the opportunity to input. So for the work session, be sure that we get the word out. I'm sure that John will help us with that, but so that the public can comment if they would like to. Okay.
If I could just say, I'd like to say too that, and I mean, I think we're all tax weary. I don't think anyone wants to, impose taxes. I mean, it's a tough spot to be, but we live in a community that's a small community. It's, heavily impacted by the surrounding communities, and our citizens and surrounding communities demand the services, and there's a price tag associated with that. So if they want to keep demanding these services, we're all as a community going to have to figure out ways to pay for those services. I know that streets is like #1 complaint, for most of the community members, and we had a forecast of projected completion of different street projects, and it was frightening. I mean, it was decades away, and that that's alarming. So I think we do need to have a real frank discussion with the community how we want to pay for these services that you're demanding. And I see this as a step in the right direction. I'm not crazy about this use tax, but I'm hoping that this discussion broadens and that we can get direction from the community on how they'd like to move forward.
Certainly.
I know the community talks about streets, and we definitely follow their lead in trying to upgrade the best we can streets. And then there's talk about open space and all kinds of issues that come up that people think are important, but how do you pay for all of those things? So, okay, so it sounds like you could bring it back to a work session with some more information.
Certainly, that sounds fine to me.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Thank you. All right, the next item is Verde Valley Senior Center building permit fee waiver request. We have Baron Najad with us to share about this item.
Commissioners, as you stated that Verde Valley Senior Center is requesting building permit fee waived. And I would like to clarify the staff report a little bit more. And it is total of $1,210 for Ramada. But actually, this fee includes more than one.
Baron, he asked if you could put the mic down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. They received a donation for 24 by 30 Ramada. So they would like to place this one and building permit required for this item, which is $342, and also fence permit $23.50, and they are also putting up a solar carport, and that building permit equals to $732.20, and these are totaling up to $1,097, and it might be a little bit more when we put in the system because of the square footage, but it will not exceed $1,210. So even though staff report shows that like this building permit was only for Ramada, it includes other building permits too, small items. So this is the waiver they are requesting for 4 items.
Okay, so I think it's the no-brainer, the no-brainer item for tonight, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
So any more questions, comments, Mr. Ilinsky?
I'll be the jerk that I think I normally vote against waiving these fees because it does cost money, to process the permits, and we are a city that is strapped, and as much as I would love to help out in any way I can, I would hate to play favorites, and so although if I was going to play favorites with anyone, of course it would be with Elaine Bremner, but anyway, I think I systematically just sort of vote against these, so I'm going to do this. I would do the same.
Any other comments?
I'll make a comment. I think this is going to, the senior center has been, coming to us hat in hand for years, and we've, up till this year, been able to increase the amount we've given to them every year to help them offset their expenses, and this is kind of a whole different idea or a whole different thing that they're asking for. They're not asking for more money to provide more meals. They're asking for money or some offsetting to actually do some physical improvements to the property, which in my mind will be, what we should be looking for from our business community is to come in and, put up this solar array, which is great. Put up the shade structure so that property will actually get used a little more, provide some fencing for security. I think it's just the right thing for them to be doing, and I like that the town of Clarkdale stepped up and gave them some money to put up the Ramada in the first place, and so I think it's just, it should be on us to do what we can to pitch in and help them out with their project. So I'm all in favor of it.
And yeah, it's like the town of Clarkdale is participating, and so we would just be a partner also in that. But it's getting harder and harder to feed the elderly, and the Ramada and such as additional enjoyment for our seniors and others who use the senior center. Vice Mayor.
In talking with my little sister in Wyoming over the holiday, they deliver Meals on Wheels in Laramie Thursdays and Fridays, and they also had their Thanksgiving on Wednesday so that they could deliver meals on Thanksgiving to the seniors in Laramie. And I asked her how their program was doing, and she said they're struggling also. There's less and less money coming in and more people needing the funding, and I was telling her about this, and she was pretty impressed with the fact that another community would come in. Of course, I had to explain to her the other community gets serviced by the senior center also. But the more that we can cooperate with each other, because they are utilizing the services, I think it is good that they have stepped up, but we're not the only one that's having problems with their programs.
Yeah. So I would move to approve the Verde Valley Senior Center's request for a waiver of the building permit fee associated with the construction of a new Ramada on its property.
Second.
Okay, so the mayor made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it, and I did not ask the public if they would like to comment. Is there anyone from the public who wants to comment? If not, all in favor?
Madam Mayor, just for the record, if you could incorporate Barron's comments about this is several, if that's the council's intent.
Okay, and this covers several of the permits that Barron mentioned, which will be listed in the minutes. And
Elaine would like to speak.
Oh, yes. Please, Elaine.
Just very briefly.
Okay.
Elaine Bremner, 1370 Deborah Drive, Clarkdale. Or you might say 500 East Cherry Street, Cottonwood, because I forgot to put a shower in that building, otherwise I'd be there day and night. I just wanted to remind everyone, we were approved for a $250,000 grant, CDBG funds by the Yavapai County, which is a big hunk of their money. It was 3 years ago that I applied for this money, and it's 3 years later. In the meantime, prices have gone up and incentives have gone away. And so we're getting sort of half the project, but at a price, we're getting $265,000 worth. The senior centre is going to have to come up with an additional $15,000 some odd dollars, $600 or something like that. Okay, so any little bit, the permit fees, consideration of waiving those would help with that, and that's on the solar part of it. And on the Ramada project, as Mayor Jones said, that Town of Clarkdale, after providing services there for over 30 years, finally kind of stepping up to the plate a little. We're very happy, about this, and so it just is a good partnership between the townships to work together. And by just waiving that few $100 enables me to get another phase of that project, put a few hundred towards getting electricity in the Ramada, under the Ramada. Light switches, things like that, plug-ins, for sound equipment, whatever. So I just wanted to mention that, and I sure thank you for your time and all the considerations that you give to the senior centre and the seniors in the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the mayor made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Elinsky. Okay, thank you very much. And the next item is claims and adjustments.
I move to approve the claims and adjustments.
Second.
So Mr. Pratt made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it. Any comments from members of the public? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I move to adjourn. The mayor made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.